A young man returns home and discovers on the carpet in the living room, his own body next to it, lies an envelope with the inscription, "Look at me." The initial shock is replaced by curiosity as Alex finds a flash drive in the envelope, which he immediately plugs into his computer, and on the screen sees just himself, the second. Alex reassures himself he is not high and has not gone insane, and advises to listen carefully. Thus it all started with men in black coming to his house. Rebecca, an employee of a private scientific research institute of advanced technologies, which cooperates with the National Security Agency of the USA, has a very tempting offer for Alex. But first, Alex must sign non-disclosure agreement, for which Rebecca offers a check for a substantial amount, having signed the papers. Alex learns the story of an American unregistered satellite, which the USA did not launch, strangely enough, to admit the satellite is allegedly from the future and contains a coded message inside. If Alex agrees, he will be put to sleep and delivered to the laboratory. The institute knows that he is practically bankrupt and lives in a house inherited from his parents. To prove the seriousness of her intentions, Rebecca immediately transfers a large sum to Alex's account, which convinces him to sign the documents the next day. He is put in a car, given an injection, after which he falls asleep and only comes to his senses in a closed secret place. Rebecca shows him the laboratory where the satellite is already located, and the guy starts solving the task. 5 weeks pass, but there are no results yet. Rebecca suggests Alex take a day off, but the guy does not need it. One day, he is visited by a vision in which a young woman decodes the same task. After that, Alex bleeds from his nose. Later, he finds the name of this woman written on the frame of the bed. Soon Alex manages to decrypt part of the code, which contains drawings of an unknown device. Rebecca announces the end of his work and informs him that he will be taken home. Alex comes to his senses at home late at night. He feels ill, which he attributes to fatigue and stress. But after a few days, the malaise intensified, and he began to be haunted by persistent hallucinations, and one day, two strange-looking men appear on the threshold of his house, wanting to know why he agreed to decrypt the code. Alex does not understand because decryption is just his job, which pays well. The men continue, press Alex with questions about morality. Don't the consequences of his work bother him? Since the device to be created from the decrypted drawings will be the most powerful weapon in the world. Alex's head starts to hurt, and he asks the men to leave. They thank him for the answers and leave. Alex immediately feels better and sits down at the computer. But at that moment, a call comes from Rebecca, reminding him of the signed non-disclosure agreements, and indignant Alex realizes that the institute is watching him, and when he again sits down at the computer in his house, the lights go out. Alex goes outside and suddenly sees one of the two men who came to him with questions on the opposite side of the street. But the man's body starts growing before his eyes. Frightened, Alex runs home and looks out the window to see the giant's hand reaching for his window. Alex extends his hand to meet it, and morning comes. Rebecca, who has arrived, finds Alex at work. He tries to explain that humanity lives in two-dimensional space, and his recent guests are a highly developed civilization that exists not only in space, but also in time. They can be in this room, but earlier or later, and they can watch what is happening through some kind of window in time. Alex tries to convey to Rebecca the danger of the device they are building, which can start World War I. Then the woman informs him that she knows about his illness, a brain tumor. The guy blames the institute, which placed him in a room with a radioactive satellite, causing a tumor to develop in his brain, and insists on stopping the construction of the device. Alex, in the present, pulls his dead body out of the house and buries it in the forest, then returns to the computer and continues to listen to the story from his future self. Alex, in the future, regrets that they did not want to listen to him because he understood that something ominous was coming. Then he remembers the woman. She is cryptographer. Alex finds her address, but Beth refuses to talk to him. Alex shouts that he is dying. He has 6 months left after that. Beth opens the doors and informs that she has 2 years left. She also realized that it was a weapon, and the drawings supposedly came from the future. There is another person, Shearman, who communicates with her through the computer and sends her tasks, which she solves when she feels normal. Beth starts feeling unwell, so a man takes her to the bedroom while he goes downstairs, where seems like he sees the girl's life in the mirrors there. She is saying goodbye to her beloved in military uniform. There his comrades inform her of terrible news, and there she is with a handful of pills in her hand, trying to leave this life. But then his attention is captured by a message from Shearman appearing on the computer monitor. Alex responds. But Shefferman quickly realizes that it's not. Bethan disconnects the man, then grabs a pack of printed papers with tasks previously given by Shearman in the morning. Beth finds him on her sofa with the papers glued together. The guy points out to her that all this are pieces of a puzzle, which when assembled, can give an answer. Shearman clearly doesn't work at the Institute. Alex asks Beth to help stop the creation of a death machine. The girl reports that she fell ill specifically after working with the satellite. She started having hallucinations and began thinking about a message from the future. What if it's possible to contact the sender? She began to hear the voices of the dead and one day heard her own voice. She also saw aliens, though she doesn't believe in them, and asks Alex to leave. Alex goes home where people in black are waiting for him. Rebecca orders him not to meet with Beth anymore and urges him to use the remaining time wisely. Inured, the guy sends the guests to hell, and upon entering the house discovers that all his papers with conclusions have disappeared. Meanwhile, Beth sees a bright light at her house, which makes her feel sick.